Hello friends. So in previous lecture, we discussed about importing data and learned something about Power Query Editor and how it is recording our step. The each operation we perform, Power Query just record our step here. So now in this video and in the coming videos, we will be discovering further about the different tabs and the functionality that we can perform in these tabs. Like in home button, this is our order sheet that we get from Adam, and in our home tab we see there are different functionality. If we see in manage columns, there is a functionality choose column. So if my data set have many columns and I want to navigate to a certain column, I just click over it and I will click on go to column and then select, like I want to go into postal code, and I will click on OK. It will navigate me to postal code. And if I want to select certain columns, I will click on choose column, and I will select the certain column. Like I want to select the row ID, order ID, and like segment, and let's check ship mode and click on OK. So you see it just selected these three columns and removed the all the other columns. So just undo this step, and if I want to remove columns, I can also select, like I click on it and then click press Ctrl and click on order ID, plus Ctrl and click order date, and then I will go to remove columns. And if I click on remove columns, it will remove these selected columns. Like if I click on it, remove that row ID, order ID, and order date. And if I click on remove other columns, if I again select these three columns and click on remove other columns, it will retain these three columns and remove the other columns. So it will help you to clean your data, you remove the unnecessary columns in real life when you have like very large number of columns. So you just select those columns that you require and remove the other columns. So these functionality will really help you. In the same way, you can perform this operation on your rows. You can keep rows and keep the remove rows. You will perform different function. You can remove the duplicate rows, you can remove the blank rows, you can remove the error rows. Like if there is an error in any of the row, you can just select that row and click on remove errors. In our scenario, there is no error in the row, so no, you say no row will be removed. So we undo this step. There is then sorting functionality. You can sort any column from A to Z, from ascending to descending. And then there is a functionality of split column. Like if in ship mode I want to split it and I click on it, then it say that how you want to split your column, by a delimiter or by number of character, by position, by lowercase to uppercase, and by a digit to non-digit. If I select on by delimiter and click on space and just click on OK. So there are some different functionality here. Leftmost delimiter, rightmost delimiter, each occurrence. If I click on leftmost, so whenever this space delimiter occur on the left side, first left side, it will split the column from there. And if I click on the right, it will check the delimiter from right, and on the first occurrence of it, it will split column from that delimiter. And if I click on each occurrences, then so if there are two spaces, then it will split the column into three column. by using space as a delimiter. So I will select each occurrence and I'll click on OK. Okay, so it splitted my column into ship mode 1 and ship mode 2. So you see there was a space in second space class, so it's just splitted my column from this the space occurrences, and it converted into two column. I'll just remove it. We can also select any you say any special special character, like in this case if I click on split column by delimiter, so Power Query automatically search your column and give you the most suitable delimiter. Like in that ship mode, when I selected it, it gave me the space. When I click on the customizer, it give me that bar. So yep, if I click on it without selecting anything, it will click on customer ID 1 CG and customer ID 2 12520. So it will also help you to clean your data. In many occurrences there are some data recorded in Excel where there is a date and there is a time, and they are like in the same column, same cell. So you want to split them into time and date, so you can use this function to split that column. Then there is a group by. We will look into it. Like, just make me a copy of this query. We can right click and click on duplicate. Okay, so for this to understand how group by work, just let me click choose column. I will only keep ship mode and sales. Okay, so now I have two column, one is ship mode and one is sales. So how group by work? Group by basically aggregate your numerical data against a dimension. Like if I click on a group by, so it said like what you want to do, basic or advanced. I basically there's two columns, so I will go on to basic. What I wanted to do, I want to group by my ship mode, it also ship mode, and I want to make a new column which will give me sales, and the operation will be performed the sum, and it will sum the sales amount. And when I click on OK, so it aggregated my second class ship mode and aggregated all of the sales coming in front of it into this row, and it's standard class here and first class here and same day here. So in this case, if you have a data and you know that there are it is that data is repeating and there is duplicate, and but the duplication is not an error, it is an occurrence of an event. So you want to group by that sale data or any numerical data against the dimension. So you can use this functionality to, and you can perform any function. Like I performed here the sum function. If I click on this gear in front of it, I can change it into average, I can change into mean, median, min, max. So yeah, so I'll just go back into order, and in data type we see the data type in the previous lecture. Like if I get into order ID, there are data type text, order day, data date. We can change it from here, and we can also change it from clicking on this icon from here. Use first row as header. So in most of the scenarios, Power BI pick the first row of your data as a header. because but sometime it can like ignore it. If I go just delete some step applied here, like delete here and delete the promoted header. So when I load the data in Power BI, it loaded in this way. So your first row are header, row ID, order date, and your second are the basically from where your data is basically starting. But you see it, your column header is basically column 1, column 2, column 3, and it is not recognizing any data type here because there's a mixer, because there's a text field, row ID, and then there is a number field. So what Power BI did, Power BI automatically promote your first row as a header. If it did not do that, we can do it manually by clicking on use first row as header. We can also choose use headers as first row. If any header is applied, we don't want that header. Basically it is a data in your row, we can demote it into first row. So in this case we will use first row as header. When I click on it, your first row has been promoted to your headers. Okay, and it also automatically change the types according to the profiling of first 1000 rows or first 1000 instances of your data here. Then there's merge queries, append queries, and combine files. For this purpose I'll need to load some new data. I will click on new sources and click on Excel workbook and click on home tab practice. So there are 3 sheets in a workbook. I will click all of them and click on OK. So yep, these 3 sheets are. So basically first we look into append. What append do? Append basically collate one file over another, like it add rows into your data. Like there is a 2 sales table, first is for July and one for August, and I want to see these both sale into one table. What I'll do, I'll click on July and I'll click on append. There it will say whether I want to append queries in this table or I want to append queries as a new. So if I click on new, then it will make a copy of July, but I want to append queries in this table. I will click on append queries. Okay, so how many tables do you want to append? Basically I want to append 2 tables. First is the my resident table, the July table, and then the other one will be August table, and I will click on OK. So you see append queries function just added the rows in my table, and it just fetched, and it basically look onto the column name, the month, customer, sale, and it appended respectively. If by any chance the name of my column vary, what the append query will do, append query will add an column here and will post my data there. For this purpose, to test this, let us open Power Query and home tab practice, and here let's change August into from sale to cost. Okay, and I'll click on Control S, save it. Then I go back to Power Query. Whether I can refresh the data or I can remove this step and perform the new step. I will just simply refresh preview. When I refresh preview, it give me error. Why it gave me error? Because in the previous step it sorry, oh, I have to go back to August, and yep, basically I changed that column into cost and it is not finding the sale here. Have to go back here and click on the cost, click on OK. Then now my column is here. I will go back to July. I will click on append queries, and click on August and OK. So you see now what it did, it appended my month and customer, because these both columns are in both in July and August, but the sale is only in July, so it gave me the sale here, and where it didn't find sale in August, it gave me the null, and in the same way in the cost it gave me the null in July and some value in August. So this is how append queries work. You have to be very careful that your column name should match, so append query will work perfectly. And for merge queries, how merge queries work? Merge queries work basically as the join, like we perform in SQL. It basically add column to your data. Like in append queries, it add rows to your data, but in merge queries, it add columns to your data. Like you say, there is a query July, and there's month, there's customer, and there are some customer names 101, 102, 103, and I also have a table which will show me the customer and the customer name. So what I want to do, I want to get a column here which will show me the customer name of this customer. To better understand the functionality of merge, first we have to understand how the join work in Power BI. So first step join is a left outer join. So suppose you have two tables. In first table you have customer ID and sale, and you want to merge it with another table which have customer ID and name, and you want a resultant table which will show me the customer ID, the customer name, and the sale. So what left outer join do? Left outer join basically look customer ID in from left table into the right table, which is a customer table, and pick the name from this table. So if a customer is coming, customer ID is available in the sale table, the left table, and it is not available in the customer table, it will show me a blank name against the name. So what will it do? You see, in 101 Alice have 50,000 of sale. Similarly 102 James have 16,000 of sales, and 103 Jordan 54,000 sales. In 104 it get me this whole table, because it is a left outer join, so it picked the all of the table of the left and the left side, and it give me the sale. But when it look into the right side of the table, the customer table, it didn't find any 104 against which a customer name is present here, so it give me blank here. So this is how the left outer join work. Similarly in right outer join, there is a table, left table having customer ID and sale, and in right table there is customer ID and name. So in right outer join, it will pick all the name from this table and plot it against my customer ID and sales table. So what it did, it picked all the name Alice, James, Jordan, Robert, Adam, Hamid, and plotted the sale coming from sale table. Like Alice is there, 101 is there, 102 is there, 103 is there, 105 is there. 106 and 107 isn't available in customer ID, therefore it gave me the blank but gave me the name but give the blank in customer ID and sale. And similarly 104 wasn't available in this customer name, so it didn't show me the 104 here. So this is how left outer join and right outer join work in Power Query. Now in Power Query we will run merge query function. I will go into merge query. In merge queries, so our base table will be July, which will be our left table, and I'll want to pick customer name from customer name table, and the relationship will be the customer in July table and the customer in customer name table, basically the same. They are representing the same key. 101 which 101 in July is same the 101 which is in customer name. So I'll pick the left outer join and I'll click on OK. So it gives me a table. I need to expand this, and I don't want the customer again, I just want the customer name. So I'll click and I will not use the suffix, because if I use the suffix it will give me the customer name slash customer name. It will give me the table name and then the column name. I will click OK. So yeah, it gave me the name against the customer ID. So you see here is no null because all of the customer ID is coming in the customer name table. So if for testing purpose, if I go back to our home tab practice and just delete 105 just for testing purpose, go back here and I'll just refresh the preview. So you see in 105 it gave me null because 105 exists in the left table, which is my July table, but it did not exist in my customer name table, therefore it gave me null. Similarly, if I click on close and now I want to merge it again, but this time I will click on right outer join, and the customer here is the customer there, and I'll click on OK, and I'll click on the customer name. So you see it gave me the data all here, but there it gave me the null. The reason is that the Leo is not available in the July. If I go on customer name, Leo been assigned the ID 108. Okay, so 108 is not available here, and 108 is also not available in any line here. Therefore it get all of the customer name from customer name table, and it did not find any month and customer and sale in the my August and July table, therefore it gave me null. So that is how your merge table work. It is basically the same rule that work in SQL. So this is the brief intro about how the merging and appending work and how the different things in our home tab work. There's one thing missing. If I go into order tab order sheet again, and there is replace value. So if there I want to replace like their second class, if I click on it and I want to replace values, it will give me like what we want to know. I want to find. I click on second. I will write second class, and I'll want to replace with view. second degree and just click on OK. So it just replace my second class in second degree. That's how your replace value function work here. So this is how your tab function basically work. We see how we work with columns, how we work with rows, how we work with split columns, group by, or use first row header, replace value, merge and append. In the next video we'll know about transform, how different function in transform will help us to clean and transform our data into Power BI.